Preseason game one of the Dave Canales era is officially in the books. What is going on, Panthers Nation? Carolina Dad here, your host of the Growls One Roar podcast. Hey, folks, this is a rapid reaction episode. I'll be back with a more in-depth breakdown of the game. I don't even know if I want to spend that much time on it, but hey, got some time to kill this weekend, so yeah, we'll probably get another episode out. Not to mention, I have a poll available online. You can still drop a comment if the poll's closed on your reaction to the game. I did an A, B, C, D vote. 70% or more, probably even more than that, given the Panthers a D for their performance last night. And I think I'd probably give it a D as well, or F. Looking at the offense under Jack Plummer was a big disappointment. And I know this is really his tryout period, chance for him to get stuff on tape. Dave Canales talked about that. Like, he is a practice squad quarterback. This is probably the most game action he's going to get until next year. Maybe he'll get to play a little bit more in the preseason. But the way that he played last night, and I hate it for him because I was pulling for him to be the third quarterback on this roster. I think it's very clear if you tuned into the game that Jake Luton should be quarterback 3. And I would not be surprised if the Panthers went ahead and made a decision to move on from Jack. Now, I think Dave Canales may have a little bit of grace here. He is a rookie, and I think he understands that. But I don't think if we're going to be a competitive team, you just look at the performance of Jack and then look at the performance of Luton when he came in and how different the two were. I know both made mistakes, but Luton just got here on like Monday. And I know he has familiarity with the offense, but he jumped right in, took him down the field, looked a lot more effective. Now we can talk about the offensive woes with the offensive line and blocking. You were primarily running like a second team out there, which, hey, we knew Bryce wasn't playing, so you'd also had an assumption coming in. Probably a lot of the starters were out. 33 players sat for the Panthers. And again, in my full breakdown episode, I'll talk through that, but you pretty much had the starting offense minus Mingo, Amir Smith-Marset, and Terrace Marshall Jr. sitting out. Now, the thing that concerned me, I understand the conditions were bad. There were a lot of drop balls. You saw Mingo, you saw Amir Smith-Marset, and Terrace Marshall Jr. That group of those 3 guys right there are competing for the back end of the roster. And I know about well, I shouldn't say Mingo is safe. I do think that's clear, so I wouldn't throw him in that category. However, Mingo is supposed to be your number 3 wide receiver, and he is dropping footballs. And I get the conditions, folks, but this is the NFL. You have to make those plays for your quarterback. Just didn't come through. Amir Smith-Marset out there very late in the game, which I don't know if I'm concerned or not, but I am kind of concerned. Like, if this guy's going to be running with, making the team, which I think he is because he's like the primary punt returner, why are you having him out there that late in the stage? Like, you talk about injuries and getting hurt. You've got a David Moore, you've got a Devin Tompkins. Put those guys back there for returns. Is what it is. Bright spots for the team, because it certainly wasn't the offensive line, as they gave up quite a few sacks. I do think some of those sacks could be attributed to Jack just holding on to the ball like way too long. Should have got the ball out a lot quicker than he did. But looking at the positives, I do think, got to see Jatavian Sanders, not much of an impact when he was in there, but Jordan Matthews and Hollister were the 2 tight ends that really probably, I don't even have the box score pulled up, but I feel like those guys probably led the Panthers in receiving yards last night because we didn't really see anything else. Looked at Mike Boone getting his touches. I liked Jaden Sheridan late in the game, although, I don't know that Jaden makes the roster, but I like to see, him getting involved. When you talk about the offensive scheme and play calling, I personally was okay with the offense itself. Like, I didn't have those same concerns as I did when we had Bryce here. Now, you got to have players that can catch the ball for you, right? It's going to be a big thing. We didn't really see many shots downfield. I think there was a little bit of, timing that was off when Plummer did take a shot down. I think he was throwing it to David Moore. Defensive side of the ball, I look at Iku Leota as a true, he's going to be on a 53-man roster. There, like, to me, there's no doubt he's going to make it. I know he's playing some second tier players, but I think he proved last night he deserves to be on the NFL roster. The defense in general is very well coached. I mean, sure, they gave up 17 points. Part of that could be attributed to the field position battle. I know, we gave them pretty good field position there on one drive where they returned it all the way down to what, like almost the 30. Don't have the box score and stuff in front of me. Just going off of mental notes. But defense played well. Alex Cook, another guy that stood out for me, and Lamar Jackson, Jameson. I mean, the cornerback group, and again, I know you're going against probably second and third team guys and or practice squad guys that aren't going to make an NFL roster, but that's what you got to do. And, it feels like Evero picked up right where he left off last year, leading a defense, again, that may not have all the talent that we want or, think you should have, but being able to take charge of that and, kind of scheme up a good thing. And I know we didn't really game plan. Special teams, Johnny Hecker, busy night for him. Tons of punts. What, I think 10 punts? New England punted like 8 times, but still 10. Kind of made me mad in the post game breakdown when I was listening to New England's and they were making fun of us, not making fun of us, but kind of laughing that we punted the ball 10 times. So y'all punted the ball 8 times. Johnny Hecker also lay in the wood, kinda. We'll try to play that clip when I do the full recap, doing the too small motion, which was hilarious. From a kicking competition standpoint, one, we got to see the new kickoff rule. The one thing I wanted to highlight with this for folks that maybe didn't watch or haven't seen it, you're used to the kicker having a running start and booting it into the end zone. The new technique for these guys is probably 4 or 5 yards off the ball, and then they just, they almost walk into it and kick it to get the ball into the landing zone. I'm I'm not, I'm torn. I know Dunk, he said he hated it, like he's not a fan of it. I kind of am with him. Like even I know it's for safety, but even the normal kickoffs, and you probably had 90% or 95% go into the end zone. There was just something a little bit nicer about those returns. So I guess we'll get used to it. Harrison Mevis, Eddie Pinheiro, though, speaking to the kickers, Eddie Pinheiro did not get to attempt a field goal or extra point. Mevis did come in and connect, so good for him as this battle continues. I want to see these guys excel and apply pressure to each other, so I'm all for it. So next up we got the New York Jets. Hard to know, and that's Saturday. Hard to know if Bryce and the team is going to play. I think the joint practice is probably the point where we're going to get a lot of reps for our starters. But anyways, I will be back this weekend with a full in-depth analysis breakdown of this game. And, we'll keep chugging along. It is disappointing for me because I wanted them to win, man. I I just want to see winning football here. And sure, it's the preseason, so I'm not going to get too overwhelmed with it. But it is frustrating, man, because you know what? I'm just tired of losing. I don't care if it's the preseason. I want to see a team go out there, compete, and win. Flashing light going on there. I guess for those that are watching the video, the light is flashing here. Hey folks, I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you could hit the subscribe, follow button. Other thing, I will be posting 2 other unrelated episodes this week, which is my interview with ESPN Wilmington. Y'all know I go on there. So I actually got to record that this time. And hey, I was on the Mac and Bone show. I don't even remember if I told people that. I was on there again this yesterday, Thursday, previewing the game. So I've got a snippet of that for those folks that missed it. Hey, if you tune into that, you'll get to know my real name, which is fun, right? Anyways, folks, I will be back. Y'all have a good one. It's Carolina Dad. See y'all.